Alright, welcome to Arrow Fletching with Brandon 101. Tools you're going to need. So I have a boning right hand magnetic fletching jig. It's just a relatively inexpensive one. So my arrows, when I fletch mine, I shoot right-handed. As I draw, my inner fletching, the one that's closest to my face, in the corner of my lip is my anchor point. I do not use a kisser button or anything else. So for me, it is crucially important to get the back end of the vein right in that notch when I fletch the arrows. Alright, so I'm doing blazers. These are like the 2-inch ones, whatever. So you can see from my old arrows, they were sitting in my case and getting smushed and then left to sit that way for a long time, so they're no longer a triangle. They're very flat. They're no longer concentric. They are very smushed. When I got down to 2 arrows that actually flew straight, and it's like, okay, time to refletch them. So steps are pretty easy. So I use the Steel Force Beyond Bond cyanoacrylate glue, the bottle, and then the accelerator spray. The accelerator spray makes this way faster. I'll set these out of the way for now. Pocket knife that's decently sharp. If you don't have one, I highly recommend a Smith's Diamond pad for sharpening knives. You can get them nice and sharp as long as it's a decent quality steel. So, relatively straightforward process. Take the nocks out and collars if you have collars. I took the field points out just for, I don't know. I'm getting ready to put broadheads on and start sighting in for bow season. So it's relatively simple. Let me see if I can prop my phone up here. So you just take your knife and cut off the old vein pieces. Okay, so I got most of it off, and now I'm actually going to hold the blade at, there's kind of a sweet spot where you can feel the angle where the bevel of your blade meets up against the arrow. So these are Carbon Express Maxim Hunter 350s. The outside of these arrows is nice and smooth and relatively hard, so your knife doesn't easily take chunks out of the arrow. It will, but you kind of have to try. So if you hold it at the right angle, and I just do kind of light pressure back and forth strokes, I can find this sweet spot. So now, well, you can see that in the video, but everything's pretty cleaned off. So most of that scraping noise you hear was the glue, and yeah, I mean, it looks pretty decent. But so I also tend to take my knife straight up and down, light pressure, and kind of feel for any chunks that are left. Like right here, there's a little bit. Scrape that off. Here's a little spot. Okay. I'm going to do one arrow from start to finish so you can see the process, but I typically would scrape all of my arrows, prep them up, refletch all my arrows, let them all dry, do it in a batch. So this is like 100 grit sandpaper. just going to kind of smooth her out a little bit. You don't have to go crazy. Don't want to remove a bunch of material, and just take a towel or a paper towel or a rag or something and kind of clean the carbon dust off. So now it's nice and clean, and it is ready to be fletched. Alright, so I am going to be doing 9 arrows, as that's how many I have left. I had a dozen at one point, so I'll let you draw whatever inferences you will. So I'm going to pick one arrow. It doesn't really matter which one. Grab an arrow. Set the rest aside for a second. I'm going to put the knock back in. It is very important while you're fletching each individual arrow that you do not turn the knock until all 3 veins or feathers or whatever you're doing. Until you are all done with each arrow, do not turn the knock even a tiny amount. That will make your fletchings be at weird angles and it won't fly very well. Alright, so now the next step, and this is, because I'm filming, I've set this up a little difficult for me, but so all you do is put your arrow down into here, set it down. So this knob down here clicks every 120 degrees. You turn it and stops. Okay, so makes it real easy to put 3 fletchings on. They make different ones for 90 or 60 degree increments, whatever you want to do. So very easy. I'm going to grab a vein and slide it in to my notch. I'm going to put the very back edge of that vein right there. Actually, before I do that, there's a little bit of glue on here. I'm going to kind of just gently clean that off. So a company called Bits and Burger makes some really nice, I think they're aluminum or steel fletching jigs like this. So they're, you see more of the pro shops will use those, and it's because, you know, they're fletching hundreds of arrows a week, if not more. But this little boning plastic setup, I think I bought for like, I don't know, $30 or $40 a long time ago. Works just fine for what I want. Just a smudge. Keep her clean. Okay, take 2. So now I put the vein in here. Line it up exactly with that black mark. Okay, I'll take my glue. I'm going to put a, I don't know how well you can see this in the video. I'll put a bead from tip to tail. I don't want to go crazy with it, but I would rather have a little squeeze out than have dry or weak spots. Okay, so the whole thing is a light coating on it, and I'm going to push this in the back first, and then push it in against the arrow. I'm going to keep just a light amount of pressure against my arrow while I do this. I'm going to give it a quick spray with the accelerator, maybe 2. Blow on it, and I usually kind of push for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds or so to kind of get it nice and tight. And then you're going to open this, pull it out, rotate your arrow to the left 120 degrees. So like here I can see I've got some glue run out and it's still wet. finish this video off, I'm going to get the next two in. Put that in. Maybe just kind of set this on the table. Run a bead. Stick it on. Give it a spray. About 5 seconds. Open it up. Rotate it. Actually, I kind of like having a little bit of extra glue because then I can smear it on the back. I'll move my phone so you can see it in a second and get like a little bit of a seal. Alright, so I'm doing these orange, orange, green. So orange, orange, green. Run a light bead. In a second, I will show you the trick that I learned working at an archery pro shop about fletching arrows. There's hair in here. It's going to drive me crazy. Push and spray. Pro tip, turn on a fan while you're doing this because it gets a little fumy. Alright, now I'm not going to rotate it in the jig. Okay, so that one I did not have as much squeeze out as the first two. So there you can see I have orange, orange, green. My green one is actually off just a hair, front to back, but it's okay. Alright. The trick I learned at a pro shop is, let's see if I can hold my arrow so you can see while I do this, is you put one little drop of glue at the front edge where the vein meets the arrow. So that way if and when you have a pass through, and also just for wind resistance, it helps, smooth, so there's not a sharp edge between the arrow body and the fletchings. It's got a light transition there. So you can see I got one little drop on each vein. I'm going to give it a couple spritzes to help dry everything a little quicker. Yeah, so in theory it's already dry, but I'm going to let it dry for, I'd say an hour before I try shooting anything with it. So that is how to fletch an arrow.